Okay, good morning. It is Wednesday, August 7th, 2024. And here I am after a reasonably long hiatus getting out. I have this week and next week off, but the entire time from last Tuesday till I think Monday afternoon, Monday evening actually, was spent in down in Massachusetts and New Hampshire, helping Sina move, and a little bit of getting Ritu settled into the new place. So anyway, all this is to say that I came back and it's been rainy until today. Even today it was overcast and a little bit of rain in the morning, but it's cleared up now. As you can see, very calm, mid-tide. I am planning to go to Elm. It's a little earlier than I usually do, which is actually a good thing. So, I will take the motor with me because of Two Bush. But yeah, I hope I can make it to Two Bush this time. I'll be in a high tide cycle, but also the time is just about 11:10, not quite. So still par for the courses in terms of what I have been typically doing, timing-wise. So all good. All right. See you on the Mamba. I can also see the mooring line needs to be untangled a little bit. I don't understand how it wrapped around with all the floaties, but we'll have to handle that. Okay, see ya. So it took me a little longer than usual. It's about 11:40 just before. Still very, very calm. And I just realized for August there's a lot fewer lobster buoys than ever. I don't know what's going on. Middle Bay should be thick with lobster traps, thick, especially that area over there, and it isn't. Anyway, oh, look at that eagle. Wow. I think it is on Kevin's area. Anyway, my starboard motor just warmed up. I had already warmed up the port motor, but it also took me a little extra time to drain the bilge with all the rain we've had. Yeah, so port motor should be warmed up. As I start planing, I'll drain the rest of it. Yeah, Elm, here I come, 11:40, mid-tide. Just after mid-tide. Excellent. See you on Elm. turning the cook's can number 12, actually nun number 12. The wind's picked up a tad. I mean, it's not Glasgow, but which afternoon is. And yeah, let me go through the mooring field and then into Cribstone Bridge. Tall ship, and Cooks is still pretty busy for a weekday. I guess it is still lunchtime, but still, for a weekday it's pretty busy. Mid-tide, but thanks to this design, the tide shouldn't be ripping that badly. Oh, these are not famous last words. I am through, and I don't see the red buoy anywhere, just the green. Must have gotten washed away. Wow. Dangerous now. Gotta hug this channel. Oh, maybe that's it. It's been pulled under. And because it's protecting those ledges that I could see. Wow, what a mess. I'm here at Elm. Well, first time this season. Hopefully I'll come here again with Ritu, but not sure if that'll happen or not. I hope so. Alright, let's head in to see where we want to anchor. Finished anchoring. Very peaceful. Well, I see a lot of seabird activity. But it is August 7th, and the deadline for embarking here is August 1st. I am very sure of that. But there's a tremendous amount of gull activity, so I don't know. I'm hoping I'm not wrong about that. Anyway, it's just absolutely gorgeous. The time is 12:20. plenty of about a couple feet from full high, but it's a moderate high today, 8.8, moderate low 1.0. It's beautiful. Interesting, there's a catamaran coming my way, and I'm just observing great Yarmouth, the raspberries, the tip of Lily Yarmouth. Honestly, my distance perception being in Maine, and especially being in the water, is now so different. I can see Cribstone Bridge over there. It feels like, oh, there it is. But it's quite a ways away on the water. This time it's about 12:45. And the mini Mamba is all good. Let's get it in the water. Oops. Mini Mamba's in the water. It's just an absolutely gorgeous day. I'll tie this up on the boat. There's always a pretty strong oceanic current over here. Always. But yeah, makes you thankful for the fact that your anchor is holding you back. And yeah, here's my bag with the battery and everything. Let's do this. Let's just make sure this doesn't go too far away while I connect everything up. So I'll hold on to the bow line and then let it go after I'm all done. Okay. See, that's the bow line. It's holding on. I will put my foot on it. Just keep everything in place. Let's get this all worked out. There's also, I just remembered, a bit of a constant wake here, right? There's lots of boats just consistently plying these waters. There's a lot of open water even on this side, so they all go up and down. And yep, let's tie this into the battery, and then I'll make straight for Two Bush. I truly hope my battery would last. Otherwise, I am in a bit of trouble. Good. Battery's at least functional. I don't know how much juice there is, but it's functional. All right. Let's get this back in the dinghy and not flapping around. Great. See, I did it here. Otherwise, within a few minutes, I would be miles behind. Also turning around. Not sure why I'm turning around, but that's the nature of the stuff here. But if you look, yeah, pretty quickly I'm behind the mini Mamba, the Mamba. So, all right, the gap and beyond. I'm planning to make straight for Two Bush. my oars are here. Unlike that time when I forgot the oars and had to go back. Or rather, I didn't. I think it limited me in terms of landing on in places where the oars, you gotta use the oars. Okay. More boats around, but I should be now getting into this channel. The number of seabirds is insanely high. And I'm looking out for that sign which tells you when you can land. Not sure where it is. Well, I'm going past West Elm's shoreline. And of course, East Elm is here. I'm hoping I can make it back. Yeah, look at that tree. Has it grown a little? Maybe. Unless my eyes are deceiving me. Seems to have grown a little bit. So this is the problem with these floaty weeds, and this channel is full of them. And once you get stuck, also in the narrow channel, if you lose propulsion before you know it, the current has taken you to one of these edges, which are completely full of weeds, and then forget it. So I figure, let me row a little bit to get out, and then we'll live for another day once you're out in the open. Okay, just headed out to the open bit. It's beautiful. There is the Mamba behind me. And yeah, there's always a little swell, but yeah, this is the south end of M. Of course, pretty much high tide today, so right on the rocks, and I'll get dashed onto the rocks if I don't propel myself out of there. But yeah, look at that beautiful, and Two Bush is over there. That's where I'll head. All right, moving along. Yeah, West Elm seems to have just a tremendous amount of birds. I mean, they're all gulls, all of them. And I've never seen it like this. So I have to wonder, is it because it's always the case, but I've never come this early, the first part of August. It's always been September, and I think one time I was here August 30th. So I've never been here around this time. Look at the swells from the open ocean. There's always going to be swells. But yeah, Two Bush, I think that is ragged over there. But I hope, unlike last time, the tide is high but not so super high that I can't land in that spot over there. Let's just see what happens. So sort of the same thing happened as last year. It's definitely less rough today, and the swells aren't remotely as problematic, so I didn't panic. But as usual, this close to high, it's just there's no easy way to access the island. It's sort of like Seguin. that as it's high tide, it gets to be problematic, and just the right amount of mid tide, or mid to low, makes it work. I'll give it another shot. This lobster guy is just hanging around doing his thing. I also saw some seals really up close, but I've been drifting further and further away from the island, and yeah. A bit of bad luck that this guy is clearing the traps right here. Okay. Those swells, the wake will come, of course, but looks like he's done. All right, attempt 2. Yeah, that's that shallow area that I think becomes a bar first, but I'm not sure. It's all submerged right now, and I don't know how I can utilize that bar. I'm gonna make for that little cove-like thing, but oh yeah, if the tide was about 6 feet, this would all be visible. Sandy spot and the sandy patch. I think I'll have to take my shoes off and wade in, being careful not to step into. Yep, and this is good. Just make sure you have the line. Yeah, it's only about 6 inches of water, but I just don't want to step into any weeds. But wow, I made it! And I recorded my making it too. So this would be great to tell somebody eventually. All right. Now, unfortunately, it's still a little before full high. So I just want to make sure the motor's off and this won't float away. I'll be in a world of trouble if it does. So let's first take care of that. Let's just make sure. Ooh, these weeds are so slimy. Good, at least I'm on some rocks. I'm here to Bush after a little hiatus. So it's still about 40 minutes before full high, and I really think I ought to do something. Make sure this is protected from another 6 inches or so of water. Thank goodness it's not a very big high. Okay. So I'm here on 2 Bush. Managed to land. Look at all these seabirds. Also, I figured instead of really trying to get it further up the boat, I'm gonna leave it like this and maybe tie up this end to something, tie it around a rock or something to give a little bit of insurance. Alright, so this is not an island which you can go particularly deep into. But I remember the only other time I think I was here and was able to alight, I was impressed by all these tide pools, which I'm actually now seeing. Yes, there's very, very verdant tide pools. Some could be rainwater pools this high up. Oh my God, look at that. I see some cormorants over there too. Halfway rock as usual. Beautiful. Okay, it's about 1:30. I'm feeling hungry finally, so I'll find a spot. Or do I want to eat on my usual spot? Yeah, maybe. Lunch is finished. I've been hanging out on the South Rocks for a bit. Actually, let me rephrase that. Half my lunch is finished. I just had the eggs, not the trail mix yet. The wind's a little brisker as expected, but still, compared to late August and September, this is nothing. Tons of seabirds all around. The tide ought to have just turned. This is peak high at Potts Harbor, 202. So it's only going to go down from here. I don't know. It's like tons of gulls, but shouldn't be nesting season. So let me just take a little bit of a walk around. What is this? It seems like it's a sign, but let's double check. No. Not sure what it is, but it's just here, washed away. The crazy storms, I'm sure, must have. I mean, I can see from the logs. This would have all been inundated. Heck, first of all, the regular tide is 2 more feet, and there was a 3-foot storm surge. So this is beautiful. All right, I might just walk around a little bit on the side, but it's not much to explore on 2 Bush. But let me see if I can make my way on the sides. So I'm sort of at a high point on the island. Not sure if it's the highest point. Those birds might be at the highest point if I had to go on the eastern edge and reach there. But standing up, I can still get a pretty good view of Ragged and the open ocean. And the very small central green portion of the island. So hardly any soil. I think these have just made their roots into the into sort of the gravelly area, really. Oh, look at all the seabirds waiting for me to leave, perhaps. I think I ought to be heading back. It's 2:12. I'll float back to Elm and then spend a couple of hours on East Elm. I'm not sure if I'll do West Elm at all today. Don't feel like it. Plus there's tons of birds there. I don't want to disturb them. So I'm gonna leave, and I'm thinking, let me document, just like I think I documented my arrival, let me document my departure. I hope I don't live to regret it. But shoes are off. The tide is actually a tad higher now than it must have been when I came here and found it. So, oh man, I should have washed my shoes. A whole bunch of detritus went into the boat, but that's okay. I can hopefully clear this up next time I land. I'm just worried these are very sharp and could damage the floor. Okay, so I got rid of some of the sand. Yeah, the tide might be higher, but honestly the problem right now is that the surf is definitely worse. So yeah, the tide is definitely higher. That rock was just peeking out. So what I will do is get a little bit deeper. Of course I'll have to row out. Another reminder why it's so critical to have your oars. And yeah, I'll just sit in and let's hope this does the job. Oops, that's the big rock that right now is submerged. Let's hope I can... Oops. There's a little surf coming from that side, but I shouldn't have to worry if I'm rowing away. Row, row, row your boat. Alright. Just a little more and I should be out, and then I'll relax and drift and there'll be no worries. Alright, I managed it. Yeah, this is that whole shallow area. It extends like this. Oh, there's another little bit of a not breaking, but heaped up wave coming. And bye-bye to Bush, on to Elm. I think I'm more or less out. Almost. Maybe a few more paddles. Alright, the wind is now coming a little diagonally, or at least certainly the current is. So it was taking me further west of West Elm, so I'm gonna use the motor. There's 2 bush in the distance. That's Mark, which I've never been. Maybe one of these early morning days I might take a chance, but it might still be problematic. But yeah, the time to try it is early August, not late August, early September. So, and yes, it's definitely a little more choppy now than it was a few hours ago, 2 hours ago. So I am getting closer to the mouth. But at the same time I'm getting closer to the islands themselves because of the diagonal component. Okay. It's a nice drive back, looking out to this beautiful vista. Take it all in. All right, finally. Look how close the current got me. Almost onto the rocks, but by just about 10 feet, I escaped into this. And oh, look at that beautiful sailboat right behind. Okie dokie. So I'm back. Question is, at different times I've done different, beachings and landings. It's of course high tide, so, and I think I'll leave at definitely before mid tide, so I think the best option is right over there. That's what I'll do. So good. Those barrier reef things, I'm past that. So this is, again, I hope that for the next couple of hours I will be good. I never put my shoes on, but there's some detritus here that I don't want to cut my feet on, so just make sure and it's clean rocks, thankfully, not weed covered over here. Alright, landed on West Elm. The water is nice and warm too. It's another thing. Even it's in September, you don't get that. And one time I remember getting sort of swamped as I was landing back, and it wasn't pleasant. This gives a different vibe. It's protected. Also, the tide's actually going down, so maybe I don't need to be super concerned. The only concern I have is there's still the odd surge that I don't want kind of hitting the boat and drifting it away. So, but as I said, the tide is falling, so maybe another 6 inches. Yep, that's good. Just a few inches doesn't matter. I'm gonna have to, with any reasonable amount of time that I spend here, I'm gonna have to go over and sort of launch over there, most likely. So, yeah. This is the waist of this island. It's the first time I'm here this early and this warm as a result, and this calm, most likely as a result. So I actually feel very different. In the past, every single time, including my earliest visit here, which was, I think, August 30th. Even that early visit was, well, it was August 30th. And there was just enough wind, and it felt like the season's over-ish, especially on these wild parts. So just early August is still summer in every sense of the word. Some would even say first week of August, like the last week of July, is peak temperatures. So this feels very, very, very good. Here I am on the waste, and even here there's quite a few gulls, and the waste is actually cleaner than I remember it. Look at some carcasses of dead gulls, but yeah, this is cleaner than I remember it. I'm pretty sure they're not nesting. It's August 7th, for crying out loud, not even some point in July. Yep, it's very clean. I think the storm might have cleaned this out. I don't remember it like this. In fact, I remember it quite overgrown with a barely usable trail through it. Making my way along the east side. Tons of gulls here, so I don't know if the west side would have been a better choice, but yeah, I remember that the west side is actually difficult to do, and this, on the other hand, is passable. Yep, I can get up over there. Oh no, I forgot. Let's come back on this end and get up here. I believe that's the way up. This or that. I'm not quite sure. The good thing I'm wearing my hiking shoes as opposed to my water shoes. Alright, I'm up. Oh, look at this. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Of course, if you remember, you got to go over there. And now I'm trying to remember, is this the way or that the way? But absolutely gorgeous. That's, of course, the highest point. I think you got to go in from here. If I remember my past adventures. It gets a little tricky. Yes. I'm glad my memory served. And cut across, and here I am. Look at this. Take it all in. my times coming here, I never ever remembered the gulls being, they're not aggressive, so it's definitely not nesting, but I don't even remember them being around as much. So I have to believe the only variable this time is that I am here earlier than usual. Yeah, there is the thing. Ah, beautiful. Now I'm actually standing on what is the highest point of both elms. I'm higher than West Elm. And yeah, taking it all in. I didn't record for the last 45 minutes to an hour. I did my usual, it's not quite a circumnavigation of the island because I use the waist to cut through. So I don't think I've ever, at least not recently, I remember going to the south side of the island. And today is not the day I feel like doing it with all the gulls, but typically this is what I've done in the past. Go up on the eastern edge, my usual spots that I did video, then of course that lower ledge that I didn't, then climb down and take the western edge up here. And sorry, that is actually the north side of the island, not the south, so that is that. Ooh, the tide's already down enough that I feel for me to have a clean barefoot launch, I should actually get going pretty much right away. Honestly, I don't think I'll need the motor, so I won't connect anything. But yeah, this has gone down more than I feared. And at this point, getting out might be a little tricky, so alright. Took a little bit of doing to get things out here. Yeah, it's starting to get a little slippery and problematic, but I think I can still push off and then I think I'm setting my bow. Alright. Done. Turn around. And as long as I can cross this stretch, I'm home free. Ooh, boy. Yeah, it's always a little challenging. And this is when the water's high enough that I'm not worried about hitting a rock, but the weeds still add enough friction and make rowing and difficult enough that it's tricky to kind of get out of that. But now here I am, home free. Oh, lots of lazing, putting everything away. The time, it's just about 5 o'clock. Still not half tide, obviously. Actually, no, just about half tide. Yeah, I haven't started the motors yet, but I'm prepping the anchor. I'll start the motors, then finish off with the anchor, and then go from there. Let's do the 50 mark, and then so interesting half-day experience, so I'm happy about that. Let's the cacophony of birds is just louder than I ever recall hearing. All right. All right, I started the port engine, and now it's about pulling up the rest of the anchor. With any luck, it will happen just as the motor would warm up. Then I'll get to deeper water per usual, and then put everything away like I usually do. Wow, perfect timing! Just as the chain started coming up, I hear the motors fully warmed up. So everything is random. Let's get to deeper water over there, and then I'll put everything away. Okay. Bye-bye, Elms. Bye-bye to Bush. Bye-bye.